Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You are watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and as I continue my COVID-19 World Series, I continue to hunt down the greatest and the best to share with you. And today, my guest is Dr. Shelton Goode. He is the CEO, Top 10 Forbes D&I Trailblazer, author and speaker, HR savant, D&I expert, and I don't want to spend 30 minutes sharing all of his accomplishments. So we're going to get the show on the road.
Okay, cool.
Dr. Goode, welcome to Conversations with Jennylyn, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Oh, great, because I have too. And on that note, let's start sharing all your wonderful accomplishments. What is D&I?
So D&I. So why don't I just tell you a little bit about me in the company?
Great.
So Shelton Goode, CEO of Icarus Consulting. Icarus Consulting is a veteran-owned and operated consulting firm that specializes in helping companies bring in high-performing, diverse talent, but we also help them keep that talent once they get that talent in the door. And we do that by making sure that they have a work environment and a work culture where everybody comes to work every day, goes home at the end of the day, feeling valued because of their expertise, feeling respected, regardless of their background, regardless of their age, race, gender, but more importantly, that they feel connected to the company. So we help companies develop strategies that do that. Now, before I started Icarus Consulting, I was a chief diversity and inclusion officer for several Fortune 150 companies. And then before that, I was in the United States Air Force, and I was a human resources professional in the Air Force. So D&I is diversity and inclusion.
I like it. We're off to a good start.
Just getting started.
Just getting it cranked up.
Yeah.
So you left the Air Force.
Yes.
Did you get your doctorate while you were in or after you left?
Yeah, no, I got it while I was in. A lot of people know that one of the benefits for serving your country is that the military provides excellent educational benefits, both while you're serving, or you can preserve those benefits and use them when you get out. I chose to use mine while I was in. Now, here's a quick anecdote. If you want to know something about Shelton Goode, when I went in as a 17-year-old, I did not have one credit hour of college. But when I got out 23 years later, I had a PhD. That's an American story. That's an Air Force story. And to this day, I have two sons. Both are in the military, and both of them have their college degrees as well. So I'm a big, as we approach Memorial Day weekend, and we take time out to remember all those people that gave their lives for this great country. The country asks a lot, but the country also gives a lot back. And so I'm here today, skinny kid, North Philadelphia, grew up in the ghetto, but got a PhD and running my own company.
These are the type of stories that I like to hear. They really resonate with me. I really believe it just supports my belief that life is what we make it.
Right.
We have opportunities so often people don't even look for them because they're so fearful and so doubtful, they don't even try.
Right.
I'm the opposite. If it's a scary situation or if it creates fear and doubt, that's the one I'm going after.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm somewhere in the middle, but I think my motivation is I've got to do it so that I can help other people. So, you know, if it's a scary situation, it's like, okay, maybe if I don't have enough motivation to do it for myself, I'm always thinking about the person behind me. That, you know, think about jumping out of an airplane. If you don't jump out, you got to jump out to show the person in the back of you, hey, it's okay. So again, I've seen that, you know, me having gone into the military, my son saw the success I had and how they benefited. It says, hey, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for us. And they are both in, and they love it.
Are they both in the Air Force?
One is in the Air Force and one is in the Navy.
Oh.
The one that's in the Navy, I don't own him.
Is there a disclaimer? Am I hearing a disclaimer to that?
Yeah, the one in the Navy, I said, you're adopted, you know. But no, I love both my sons very much, and I'm very, very proud of them.
So how long has it been since you have left the Air Force and started this company?
Well, so I left the Air Force in 1997, and then I went into corporate America. So I was a corporate C-suite executive in corporate America, having left the Air Force. So left the Air Force in 97. From 1997 to 2018, I worked for several companies. Was a HR executive or a diversity and inclusion executive. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm going to take all of this military experience and education and corporate experience. I think I want to do my own thing. And isn't that what America is all about? You know, you leverage all of that opportunity. And, you know, I am so proud of the fact that 1 year after launching my firm, our work was recognized by Forbes magazine, and we were recognized as one of the top 10 diversity and inclusion consulting firms in the country. So I'm very proud of that. Very, very proud of that. I got a great team. Got a great team.
Hats off to you.
Thank you.
And so you've been doing your own thing now for how many years?
For about 2.5 years.
Oh, so it's new. Well, congratulations. And
Thank
I
you.
can tell it's already successful.
Thank you. Yes.
Now, I have to ask you a question that's always burned holes in my mind, and I never had a person I could ask this question. I think you would be the one.
Okay.
Who does HR represent? The company or the employees?
HR represents not just the company. You say the company. So let's break the company down.
Yes.
HR represents stakeholders that own the company.
Mm-hmm.
They represent customers. They represent the community. They represent employees. They represent suppliers. HR is there to make the company as successful as possible. And you do that by making sure that everybody, that you understand the needs of everyone. And so let me give you an example. I was an HR executive with the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority here in Atlanta. It was my job to make sure that our trains, that people could access the trains. So people who had disabilities, it was my job to make sure that our trains and our stations and our buses were accessible. It was my job to make sure that people who wanted to do business with us, suppliers, vendors, that there was a fair and equitable process so that small businesses and big businesses could do business with us. It was my job to make sure that employees were safe. And if they had concerns, they could voice those concerns without fear of retaliation. It was my job to make sure managers were qualified to supervise people. And it was my job to make sure we have policies, practices, and processes in place to make sure that the agency was successful. So HR is a misnomer. It's not either or, it's all. It's all. It's not the company.
So many employees feel like the HR is supposed to represent them and do what is right for them, but it's sounding like they're like a liaison between many different pieces.
Yes.
really
Yes.
difficult to make all those different pieces happy.
You don't. You can't make, it's not about making them happy. It's about, if the company is not successful,
Mm-hmm.
then no one is going to benefit. I like to use the word benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Happy is, subjective.
Right.
I'm happy today, I'm not happy. But am I benefiting? Am I benefiting? When I go to the doctor and I have to get my annual physical, there's parts of that annual physical that doesn't make me happy, but I still benefit from, from the exams and the labs. I like to think about HR that way. It's to make the company as healthy as possible so that everybody can benefit. A company that's doing that's not doing that's not helping the community is not a good company. So the company should be looking at ways that is taking in all of this money. Are we doing things to help our community be healthy? So it's not about making everybody happy, but it is about making everybody healthy,
Right.
so that everybody can benefit. And so it's not personnel. It's not personnel like it was 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. It's human resources. It's bringing all of those resources together for the benefit of everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the most clarification I've gotten on that over many, many years, because so many of my coworkers in previous jobs felt like HR was supposed to be like our the organization within the company that's tried to make sure that we were being treated right and fair. But I guess that's a misconception, and I thank you for this clarification.
But let's use let's use our current pandemic. It's a perfect example. If the HR was representing the company, they'd be like, everybody come back to work and be productive and make money. But everybody knows that would be crazy.
Right.
So it's HR's position to say, wait a minute, you know what? 3 months ago, we didn't like people working from home.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Some companies didn't like people.
Yeah.
But now it's the HR's job to go to the senior leaders, the board of directors, everybody, and say, you know what? Productivity is up 10%. Customer satisfaction is up 25%. Safety accidents are down 91%. Why can't we let people keep working from home? So you see, and then that's going to benefit shareholders. It's going to benefit employees. It's going to benefit employees' families. It's going to benefit the company. It's going to benefit the community, because now you're not making people sick. You see, this example with the pandemic this is when HR, I believe, is shining at its best. HR is really showing its stuff right now. So good for
you
HR.
see, there's so many good sides to this pandemic. Nothing is all just bad, right? There's good that comes out of good and bad that comes out of every situation. And that's a good example. I think corporate America is going to change a lot of its structure after this COVID-19.
Yes.
Because the common thread I've been hearing within these conversations is how much more people are getting done from home than they did when they had to get in the car and sit in traffic, go to work grumpy because somebody cut them off. This is brilliant.
There are stories out there of people who have gone to their doctor and found that their blood pressure is down, that migraines have decreased. There is tangible evidence that people are if they're not infected by the virus, they actually are getting healthier. People are exercising. They're they got more time now. I know I am. So I'm not going to the gym, but I'm walking 3 miles a day, and so there is some upside to this. People just have to take personal responsibility and continue to keep themselves safe and keep their families safe.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, you are a very accomplished, very disciplined human. That is evident. I'm even looking at your office. I'm impressed. I really am. It says a lot about you. I believe that. I believe the way someone keeps their surroundings says a lot about the person that they are. And so
It's hard to be in the military for 23 years and not bring
well,
some of
that was
that.
going to be my next question. How much of the person that you are today has to do with the programming, the training, the discipline, and whatever else has come out of your life in the military?
I would say that Shelton Goode is the product of three things. Parents, working poor parents that spent almost 40% of our household income to send me and my brothers and sisters to parochial school. So I'm the product of a parochial, school, Jesuit educational upcoming. My parents sacrificed a lot. My mother went without winter coats and new shoes so she could send us to school. And so I had to honor that by saying, okay, how can I build on it? I went into the military. The military didn't have to do a lot to reshape me. My parents already, hard work, discipline, self-control. You work, you want something, you work for it. Nobody owes you anything.
Right.
So you go into the military puts you with a lot of diverse individuals. You learn from them. You learn how to get along with people that's different. You learn to listen. You learn to respect people, even when you disagree with them. And then you learn that these people are going to keep you alive. So you learn to be disciplined. You learn to trust other people. You learn to respect them. Then you leave the military. It's like, wow, trust and respect is currency that you can take to any part of the world. All cultures value respect and trust. And so as a leader in corporate America and HR, I tried to convince all of the leaders of the companies I work for, you want to make money? You want to be successful? Respect people. Respect the people that are sacrificing to come to work every day, and then trust them. Hire the best people and trust them to do their jobs. And so, if my wife was to walk into the room right now, she would probably say, yeah, but he's still hard-headed sometimes.
That's hard wiring. You can't really.
and I would remind her the reason I'm doing what I am today is so that she can continue to search for some blue pumps with some red bottoms. So, my job is to make her happy. It was just,
You'll be causing some havoc in your house.
hey, listen, I may be hard-headed. That doesn't mean I'm crazy. I know that if I keep my wife happy, I will have a good life. So 80% of my discretionary money goes to her, and then she spends it on whatever she wants. And
but
my
when
job,
she wears those shoes with those red bottoms, you're very proud to be taking her out in them, I'm sure.
Hey, and if she wants to get 8 colors of the same shoe, whatever, I keep my mouth shut.
Lucky lady, lucky lady. So,
hey, to any guys out there that's listening, guys, listen, keep it simple. Work, keep your wife happy, and the rest will take care of itself.
that is such great advice. Can we start a program so you can train the guys?
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, let's me and you put together a training program.
Yeah. I'll help you. On my word. That will have less divorces and a lot happier couples.
Yes.
So the end of the day is whatever it takes to get both people happy so they can keep that team spirit going.
Yeah, it's not about who's the boss, who's not the boss.
Exactly.
It's about what do we need to do. Yeah, hey, if she walks in here right now, she wants to be the boss, she can be the boss. Our job is to make sure that our family is healthy and safe and prosperous. So
what a healthy man. Good for you.
Now I had to learn some of that the hard way. I ain't going to tell a story. I had to learn, but at my age now, I got it.
Well, some people never do, so I have to say kudos to you. I must ask you if your parents are around, because I am sure if they're still around, they're very proud of the person you are. Are they?
No, well, they are. They're around in spirit. They're around in my heart. So I know they're looking down on me, and every once in a while when I want to do something stupid, I hear a little voice in the back of my mind. And my mother would say, if you do that, you're going to regret it. And so my mother and father are still with me, even though they're not
Aw.
physically here. So.
But were they around to see some of your accomplishments at least?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
good,
yes, yes.
good. I'm happy to hear
And
that.
oh my God, I don't want to leave out the fact that so my in-laws, my father-in-law is a retired Air Force person. My mother-in-law is a retired nurse. And when I tell you I'm the luckiest person on the planet, because from the first minute, literally the first minute they met me, they have loved me from the first second, and even to this day. So even though I don't have my parents, my in-laws are my parents now, and so I know they're going to get a chance to see this. And so, hey guys, I
I'm
love them.
telling you, I just met you today and you are a remarkable person. I can't imagine many people meeting you and not liking you, because you have a very healthy, positive attitude. And that's the thing that makes us like people. You know, you
Yes,
want to be
yes,
around them. If they're
yes,
negative and they're gloomy and miserable, who wants to be around people like that? So
yeah,
I feel it doesn't matter what life tosses at you, you
right,
have to make sure you stay in the positive and stay happy.
right. And I've you hear this cliche all the time. People say I'm blessed, but I really am. I really am. I've got I've got children that love me and that I love, grandchildren, in-laws, a wife, family. I think this pandemic has told us and reinforced that it's not about work and career, it's about family.
Exactly, exactly. And I feel that this pandemic has come to bring so much awareness to us. I don't want to say teach us lessons, because I think the lessons have always been there. And in the
Yes,
back of our minds, we are conscious of these things, but we
yes,
never incorporated them in our daily existence because we were too busy and didn't matter.
right, right,
Now
right,
we are forced to make it matter.
right, right,
And that is the thing that I'm hoping people aren't missing.
right. I hope, well, I will tell you this. When I talk to my friends and family and neighbors, more and more people are confirming to me that they've shifted their priorities and been reminded about the things that's really important. So you said it yourself that this pandemic has some upsides, and so now we're not minimizing the fact that people are ill and people are dying, but if there are some upsides to it, families are coming together, communities are coming together, people are have reprioritized what's important. And I believe that companies, communities, and the country is going to come out of this better.
I hope so.
I
Fingers
believe it.
crossed, because some families are getting divorced. We're
Yes,
learning about ourselves. We're learning
yes,
a lot about
yes,
each other.
yes,
Because the sad thing I keep hearing is these families have been together for 20 how many years, and they're just realizing how much they like or don't like each other, how
yeah,
much they can live or not live together,
yeah,
because they were always like moving ships, passing
yeah,
each other in the night,
yeah,
and not being forced to be with each other and get to know each other as we are now. So
right,
I'm hoping it's more cohesiveness happening and less of the opposite.
right, right, right.
So you have so much we could talk about. Almost everyone I interview, I'm saying we have to do another segment. We can't cover all greatness in 30 minutes. Let me see how much time we have. I think I want to ask you, how has COVID-19 affected you as a person?
As a person, so first, let me say I'm healthy. I have not been tested, but I have yet to show any symptoms. And so I'm healthy. For all my friends that will eventually see this, I'm healthy. So as a person, again, it's given me more time for my family. It's helped me focus on some things that maybe I didn't spend some time on before. So that's number one. As far as the business, I can tell you, knock on wood, fingers crossed, business continues to be successful.
Great.
My clients, we're, we're doing a lot of the things that we were doing with our clients face to face and on client site. We're now doing that virtually. Guess what? I'm actually saving some money because I'm not having to travel as much, and my team loves it because now, we're doing virtual meetings. No one is driving in crazy Atlanta traffic. So I'm here to tell you that personally, I'm fine. Icarus Consulting, we're continuing to be successful. And I would like to tell companies out there, and I know you have many fans and followers, that companies at this point should not be pulling back from their human resources and diversity and inclusion investment. As a matter of fact, this is a time, the companies that are going to come out of this stronger and better are the ones that's going to continue their investment in their human resources and diversity and inclusion efforts. I know some companies are going to say, well, that's a struggle. We can't afford it. We're laying off people. I would ask you, look at your strategies, look at where you are investing. And I would say this is probably not the time to pull back on your investment in your human resources. This is the time to maybe look at how you can even make even more investment. You're going to companies, if they do that, are going to come out of this better. Trust me. Trust me.
Well, I agree with you, though. I see it. If you look, you can see that companies are really benefiting, some of them, from this arrangement, the virtual arrangement. So from where you are located in Atlanta, and from what you know, how has your state been affected by COVID-19 in terms of contaminations, deaths, and the impact it's having on your state that you know of?
Yeah, so allow me at least a couple minutes of very transparent, candid conversation here. I live in Georgia. A lot of people think about Atlanta and Metro Atlanta in the 19 or more counties that make up Metro Atlanta. Very prosperous, very exciting place to be. But a lot of people forget that there are millions of people outside of Atlanta that live in rural Georgia. We're talking about farmers. We're talking about poor. We're talking about working class. And so if there's one thing that I'm very disturbed about, is that this pandemic has disproportionately impacted the poor, the working class, and people of color. The same people who were already suffering under, even when we were having the lowest unemployment and the most robust economy, we still had people suffering. Now you have this pandemic. And so I don't think I'm hearing enough conversation in my community or even across the country about the help that the poor, the working class, and people of color need, even more help now than ever before. And so here in Metro Atlanta, our numbers were at or below the national average, but we had counties in southern and in rural counties that were disproportionately impacted. And right now, the jury is still out. Our numbers, I'm concerned that the fact that our state was one of the first states to reopen, we may be one of the first states that see a spike. So every day, I think that the leadership of the state and of the larger cities are keeping an eye out to see if we're going to see a spike. But
you've had a resurgence. And
yes,
are the numbers higher than before? Do you know?
As of yesterday, they were not. As of yesterday, they were not. So, keep our fingers crossed. as we begin to even open up more of the state, we'll see. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And like you said, it's always the same people, you know? They always seem like they always have the tough end of the bargain. Although I must tell you, one thing that makes me happy is that the Caribbean islands and much of South America that's considered third world, they have not been as hard hit as many
Yes.
parts of the United States, Italy,
Yes.
and other countries.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm just trying to put my hat on and try to figure out what is causing this. And the one thing that I see and know for a fact is that these people quarantined early, and they remain quarantined, and they take it very seriously.
Yes. Yes.
I had a notion, but I've been told that it's wrong, that if you had the BCG shot, it's helping. But a friend sent me an article the other day where they're saying they don't see a connection. They're not saying not.
Yeah.
But they haven't had, in fact, Trinidad and Tobago has been rated as one of the top countries in terms of controlling and deaths to date.
Wow.
So I'm very sorry that you guys are having a resurgence. I'm sorry that, you know, for what you described happening to the African American population, and the minorities always seem to have it tougher. And I just wish we could change that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, until we have a philosophy where we understand that the country is only as strong as, you know, its poorest communities, you know, and we're just not there yet. So the only thing I can do is continue to use forums like this to at least remind people that even when things are going well, even when they're going very well, there are people who are still being left out. And the one thing that I'm happy about is that communities, churches, nonprofits, thank goodness for them, because they, you know, we have organizations whose very mission is to help, you know, to help the poor, the working class, and so thank God for them. And so that's why I contribute to those causes, and because I know that they're making a difference to people, you know, as well as churches and other civic and community organizations. So
Okay.
good for them. Yeah.
Whenever I'm speaking with an inspirational person who is so full of success stories, the time flies.
It always does. Yes.
I can't believe it's almost over. Before we wrap this up, and I'm seriously going to be doing a segment of a series of interviews with some of the people I've met doing this, and you are definitely one of them if you're willing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What message do you want to leave for people watching this show before we wrap up? I mean, we've covered a lot of stuff, but is there a particular message you want to leave? Yeah,
so I would say to the individual, anybody that's out there, just one-on-one, is that, hey, listen, exercise self-control. You know, exercise some accountability for yourself. Take care of yourself. Regardless of what's happening out there, only you can take care of you. As far as families, love each other, help each other. Take advantage of this time. Use the technology. We're doing a lot of virtual family meetings. You know, my sons, who only called me once or twice a month, now call me 2 or 3 times a week. So hey, so to families, to the communities out there, again, you know, again, remember that we're all one big community. For the companies out there, double down on your HR investments, on your D&I investments. And for the country, you know, go back and listen to, read over the Pledge of Allegiance. Listen to the words from the Star Spangled Banner. This is the best country on the planet. We have not done things perfect, but I promise you, we're going to get our act together. We're going to have testing. We're going to come up with a vaccine, and we're going to, again, show the world why the United States of America is still the best place on this planet to live, work, and play. So that's what I would tell everybody. And oh, by the way, if you need some help with your diversity and inclusion, call Icarus Consulting. www.icarusconsult.net. Got to get a plug in.
That's fine. We didn't even talk about your books.
We'll come back. We can talk about that on another episode.
Yes, we will. But I know that we're out of time, but I want you to share this with my viewers before we go. What was the most memorable experience? I'm sure you've got millions, but which one do you want to share about your life in the Air Force? Why another person who's uncertain should take that leap and go do it?
Yeah, I would say for me, the biggest moment came for me was actually when I retired. And all the people who sent me messages and phone calls and emails and talked about how I impacted their lives, and I didn't even know it. And I would tell people that if you are 17, 18, if you're a young person right now and you don't know what to do, I would say there's no higher cause than serving your country. None. And now you don't have to go into the military. We've got people on the front lines right now sacrificing every day. But serving and giving back, there's nothing higher. I think we're put on this planet to help others. And so I would say no higher calling than serving your country. And so you won't even know the impact you make until you've done something like that. And if you're not certain, again, you can hit me up on my website, send me a message, I'll respond, and I can talk to you some more about it.
And tell us the website again.
www.icarusconsult, all one word, .net.
Shelton, Dr. Goode. You deserve that name, Goody.
This has been fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Thank you so very much. I've really enjoyed this. And I'm not kidding. You are Goody by name and nature. And we will do this again.
Okay.
And thank you so much for watching Conversations with Jennylyn. When a conversation is all you need to be inspired. And if you're not by this segment, you did not watch it. So watch it. And thanks again, and I will see you next time.